What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome. I know who it is. It's your boy Kensou back again. As they say, new video. Gosh, dude, I'm so tired of saying new video. Guilty Gear related. Let's talk about the one and only ninja, Chipp and the things that he needs in Season 2 to be successful. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer. Some of this stuff for you guys might come as maybe a surprise. Some of it may not be surprising at all. Regardless, you're gonna learn a little thing or two about what I think he needs. So buckle up. Let's look at everything that I believe Chipp needs to be successful in Season 2. So for starters, let's go ahead and knock this one out. Let's just keep it funky fresh. Let's talk about the Slash Nerf. The Slash Nerf was, I think, a little overzealous by Arc Systems. I do think that that nerf was to make it so that Chipp could just lose to lows even harder. And quite frankly, it has always been a weakness for Chipp in just about every single Guilty Gear in existence. Lows are very strong against the character on his approach. However, in the older games, he did have Gamma Blade to contest. In this version of the game, his Gamma Blade isn't really like that, so it would be nice to have his Slash be a little bit better to combat the lows, so that it makes it easier for him to just kind of fight these things, because a lot of characters have really good long range lows that lead to a lot of damage. So it's not always easy to whiff punish, you know, a move that's as fast as a crouching kick, or some crouching slashes are pretty fast in terms of recovery. So it'd be nice to be able to get something off of that a little bit more. So I think Arc Systems should really readjust that, right? Next up on the change list, what I think he needs is jump dust to be 6 frames, and on counter hit tumble, and have a slight disjointed hitbox. I'm not looking for this move to be downright broken or anything like that. So a lot of people who have played older Guilty Gears know that move from Chipp to be very, very strong. However, in this game, a lot of 6Ps are really good, and it kind of sucks in this game, in my honest opinion, to mostly jump around with jumping heavy slash and obviously J2K as well. But I think him having one more normal that would be very useful for him, that's really good on counter hit, would be nice, which would be that button. It helps to keep people off of you. It helps for you to use your jumps. It's a great button for the character to have, and the tumble state will be great for him to be able to pick up his combos. All in all, great addition for him to have an old Guilty Gear tool to be very good. Because currently right now, 8 frames with the hitbox it currently has isn't really cutting it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, right? Next up, I want to talk about his Rekkas, and I want to talk first and foremost about his overhead Rekka. His overhead option from his Rekka, I think, is not that good in this game. It's good for certain things, but it's not that great overall. I do think it'll be greater if they either made it faster for combos, so that he can go, let's say, sweep Rekka into overhead, and then from that point you get to branch off and decide what you want as a player. Whether you take the hard knockdown from sweep Rekka overhead, which would be a nice little short sweep combo, and or extend it with maybe another combo, 2S2H, K Alpha, K air dash KD. Knock them down from there if you want to, but it'll be a soft knockdown versus a hard knockdown. This way you have a way to choose one or the other. You know, I think that would be great. In addition to that, coming back to his Rekkas, talking more about his Rekkas, we have to address the elephant in the room, and it is his Rekkas being negative on hit. On block is totally understandable. I understand if Dry's frame data is a little off, but being -3 on hit is not very good in my honest opinion. I understand Arc Systems made it in a fashion to where if people fidget, then you'll be able to whiff punish them with the range in which you're at, because you can play a specific range kind of game with how you hit with the Rekkas based on distance. However, I do think it still encourages the opponent to still forcefully take their turn, and Chipp doesn't really have too much in the way to counter it outside of throwing out maybe a 6P to stop the mid, because it does have upper body invincibility. But at that point, players can still hit their good, guess what, low attacks that reach from just at that range and potentially do damage to him or what have you. Just basically they can just forcefully take their turn back, and I think that really sucks. If a Chipp player takes their time out to say, let's say on block, they punish like Geo 214K or her Wolf Kick, 5P, 6P, double Rekka, and you're still negative, that really sucks, because you punish them for being incorrect, and now you're about to be in a situation where you completely lose your turn. That stinks, and I think they gotta change that. I do think on block it could be a little bit safer as well for the second Rekka. First Rekka can be -2, -1 or something along those lines, but at the very least, when we hit with the low option, it would be nice if it was at least +2. You know, if you want to go +1 at the very least, at the worst +1, but give us something. I think that we should not be punished for punishing our opponent. Another thing I want to talk about here is Shrukin. Shrukin, I just think, needs work. It's very befuddling that it is in this game and all they did was kind of speed it up and kind of change the angle on it. And it's like, this is a nice change, but it's still not good enough. This move essentially is a gigantic meme. It used to be his taunt in older games. At this point, why are you making it an input artist? It just feels like it's a taunt now. If it was a projectile and or worked the way it did before, it'd be nice. So what I'm proposing here is to let it work exactly the way it did in Xrd, where you had a slow and a fast one. You could glide with it if you instant air dashed, and it just opens up some more doors for the character in terms of pressure and approaching the opponent, because right now it doesn't feel really useful outside of maybe the big bodies and a few specific scenarios on knockdowns. Otherwise, this move right now is, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's pretty weak. So from Shrukin, let's move on to this next thing here, right? I want to get into 6P and 5H as dash cancelable normals. I think Chipp 6P is fantastic in this game, but I think the problem is you don't always really get a good reward from it. You can super, you can do Rekkas barring the height, Gamma barring the height. I think what will be phenomenal is to make it dash cancelable on counter hit so that you can actually pick up from it. Even if the combo is scaled, I would rather take a scaled combo from the anti-air and be able to take advantage of Chipp and his kit from that point, because none of his kit really works off of a counter hit 6P, especially at range, unless you RC, and at that point it's still going to scale, and it's going to scale even harder because you RC. So having some kind of option there, again, dash cancel, I think would make it good, and does it require a meter? That would be fantastic. Same thing with 5H, I think that button is really good in this game, but you're not really using it nearly as much. 2H is pretty much the move you'll be using a lot in your block strings because, you know, it does advance forward when people are FDing. 5H gets you pushed back even further, so I think it having a dash cancel would help take advantage of the pushback when you dash in, because then you can use blue RC, etc, etc. And if what they say holds true in this next update, that they're adding more freedom of movement, if they made 5H jump cancelable, that in addition with the dash cancel puts him in line with like Giovanna, Soul, you know what I'm saying, Mei, and these are characters who are not really, especially Soul and Mei, they're not really speedsters, so they don't really deserve these options, but they have them anyway. So I think if Chipp had this would help kind of open up more options for his rushdown, right? Now that's what I think about that. Something I kind of want to see in the future is if they do add 25% metered options. It'd be great if he had his old Gamma Blade as that option. If they were to not change the far slash to be able to beat lows a little bit better, then I think this would be a good alternative, because now you have a way to force people to respect you and get a combo, because that's how the old Gamma Blade used to work. It used to dissipate other projectiles and beat normals if you threw it out, because it is a projectile, and you will get a combo off of it. It will be scaled, but you still got a combo, and that'd be great in this game because it costs 25 meter. So of course, if it costs 25 meter, the damage output shouldn't be super amazing because it's probably fast or however they would make it. But the idea is it costs you something to be able to gain something. So now you have to respect Chipp when he moves forward when he has 25% meter. So I think that'll be a really good fair change for him if this was something in the future. Also, something I think should be in the game is what we saw in his initial launch trailer, which was K Alpha to P Alpha. Why that isn't a thing right now is beyond me, but I think if it was a thing in the game, it would be great, especially if the P Alpha in the air caused a hard knockdown. Now we can do more with his knockdown game. Now we can pick and choose combos. It would just be a whole lot greater for him to have as a whole. Last thing I'm gonna say here is I think 2S should be a low, and they should extend the hitbox for it just a bit further. I know that they buffed the hitbox in the previous patch, and it's to help him with run momentum and in order to keep the box in line with his run momentum. But I do think it would be nice if it was a little bit further out, just to kind of help him in that regard. The move already is pretty short range. You can whiff cancel it, so I know some people will probably say, well, that would be a bit much because this move's whiff cancelable anyway, and he's the only character with a whiff cancelable thing like that. This is true, but I think it would help his close slash game a good bit, because close slash at the moment is strong, but I think it would be great to have that as an option because you already have his sweep for counter hit. But I do think you're going into sweep Rekka anyway. If you hit them and let's say they just stand up, you're not really getting too much off of sweep Rekka. Obviously, if you have meter, you can extend it. That's any character in the game. If you have meter, you can extend. However, if he had 2S2H as a load, that would help open up that as an option. It might seem like a bit much, but that would be nice. I will also add to this as well, his close slash could be plus. I do think his close slash should be plus at least 2 or 3, like some of the other characters that have these things. They have dash cancels, he doesn't, so I think maybe plus 2 would be fair, just to kind of keep him not OD in that regard, you know, because the plus 3 with Geo gives her a dash cancel and it can be scary, it cannot be from close slash, so maybe plus 2 would be somewhat fair. Just some kind of plus frames to kind of let him enforce a little bit more offense in that regard. FD is already a thing anyway it goes, so he can get pushed back, but now you have to do a close slash pressure, and if he tries to like loop it, you know, it's not the fastest normal. I believe close slash is like 7 frames up close, so you know, something along those lines, because people are going to challenge him anyway, but some kind of plus frames from close slash would be fantastic. Now, that's going to go ahead and do it here for what I believe he needs here for Season 2. At the end of the day, the things that I'm proposing here are just things to just open up the character and just give players more options while playing Chipp, because I do think he does need these things. I do think one of the problems Chipp has right now in Strive is that he can be somewhat linear. And I think that's where a lot of Chipp players kind of struggle at some point, is being kind of linear, being kind of repetitive. You can play him a little less repetitive in this game, but I think with these changes, they help open up that drastically, because most people would say, well, he needs Find Me, or he needs this, or he needs that. Honestly, I think he mostly just needs Gamma Blade and he'd be fine. You could add Find Me too, that'd be a nice change, but it doesn't really need teleports. If you gave it to him, might not be too good, strictly because what made teleport really good in Xrd was YRC, and since there is no 25 meter option, you'd probably have to make his teleport recovery about as good as Testament, if not slightly better, and I don't think that will be too good. I think that might be a little volatile for the game. Maybe. It remains to be seen. We don't know if we're gonna get extra special moves in Season 2, but that's my little extra 2 cents there. Let me keep this short and sweet for you guys. Let me know how you guys feel about this in the comments below. Talk to me. How do you think these proposed changes sound to you? Or do you have other changes you think that could be better for Chipp as well? Talk to me in the comments below. Talk to me. Let me know. And with that being said, let me get up out of here and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Stay safe.